Hello, I am Tiffany Watson, Director of the Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program. Thank you for joining us for the Lawyers in the Classroom program series. Today, we'll hear from Ms. Elizabeth Bowe, attorney volunteer and director of the Pro Bono and Community Service Initiative at DePaul University. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So I've always been an active volunteer, both with community service and pro bono work, but I was really excited about the chance to use my law background in a little different way and be able to look at a chance to work on civic engagement, which is a passion of mine, and more importantly, get to work with students, especially students at kind of a younger level than some other volunteer programs in this unique opportunity. So I was thrilled for the opportunity to do that. Sure. So we chose for the beginning of this year for 7th and 8th graders, we chose the free speech versus hate speech lesson. And this was a new updated lesson, really exciting for this year, that used the events in Charlottesville and what regarding rallies and free speech and hate speech issues that arose from the violence we saw there. And so it was a great opportunity to complement what they were studying in terms of the various aspects of the Constitution and Bill of Rights in particular. And also, I think we both thought this was a great opportunity for them to be able to discuss and work with issues that were so contemporary. Many of the students had heard about what had happened, and this was something that, especially with other events in the last couple of years, the whole concept of what is free speech, what is hate speech, and the limitations that can be put on it was something that we really thought would be a great opportunity to engage the students in. Yeah, I think this was such a great lesson for them. They were so engaged and had such wonderful debates. The things I think they really took away, one was really solid concepts of free speech versus hate speech. And even as 7th and 8th graders, what are the nuances that go into that? What is the government's role and ability to limit, and when can't the government limit speech? And then more importantly, how that affects their own lives. So when they were looking and discussing about free speech, hate speech in terms of things very contemporary to them, even things such as social media and their interactions on there, they were able to take away that from this lesson. And then on a skills level, I think for a lot of them, for the way that this lesson was structured, is they really learn the importance of everyone having an advocate and sometimes having to recognize and advocate, be able to recognize a side that you don't agree with, but be able to have valid points, both to counter argue against it, but recognizing that everyone has a chance to have an advocate and how important that is. They did a lot of sort of advocating for the groups that maybe they wouldn't ever affiliate with, but really did an amazing job of working through that. It's great. First and foremost, it's so much fun. You get so inspired by going in the classroom. It's amazing, the arguments, the discussion points, how involved the students are. And I credit a lot of that to my teacher partner. She does such a great job of setting up our lessons before I come, as well as really connecting things in the classroom to what they're doing and who they are. She knows her students best, and she can involve them in ways that they really get drawn out into. And so I just find it really fun and fascinating. It's an amazing way to be able to give back to my community. And I think you get really inspired by seeing the desire to be civically engaged by the students who are so passionate. And I take that passion forward in my own work and then continuing volunteer and pro bono work. I've thought a lot about this question because there's so many great situations I feel like I get to tell about. And I use so many anecdotes when I'm talking to my own law students I work with about the students that I've been able to participate in the program with. But this year with this lesson in particular, it was really amazing to see the students articulate, and after having the background of the lesson, the sort of teaching part on my end, but then facilitating the really open discussion, how passionate they were about things in their own life and thinking about what in school and in their personal life, what free speech meant to them and how important it was. And it came up in a discussion where, again, we had assigned students, they didn't have a choice who the side that they were advocating for, and they got very passionate and into the discussion and being able to apply it to their own lives. So that it was just seeing kind of where the free flow discussion went and how the students embraced this lesson and really took it to heart, and the importance of recognizing their own rights and protecting their own rights. And I can see them taking that forward. And I love the passion and advocacy. It's so inspiring. And you forget almost how young they are because of how articulate they were and involved and the issues that they brought up in this discussion. So sort of just the general discussion that came out of the end part of the lesson. I feel I always appreciate in our lessons that there's time built in for reflection at the end, because I think that's where some of the most important, amazing, funny comments come from the students.
Sure. Excellent. Well, I'm so glad that they were very engaged, it sounds like, and that you enjoy being a part of the program. I'm so glad that you presented that lesson and that the students are really learning the concepts as well as just being able to translate that into the world, which is what we want ultimately, because they are civically engaged because they're involved in, what's happening in the world. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing your thoughts, your experiences. And we're just so happy that you continue to be a part of the Lawyers in the Classroom program.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's such an amazing program. And I have to thank you in particular because the structure you create with every lesson and the contemporary nature of them just makes it really easy for us volunteers to go in and have a good, thoughtful, fun time with the students that we're working with. And my teacher partners have always been amazing. They're so dedicated to their students, but also dedicated to creating a really great space for us as volunteers. And I'm extremely grateful for all aspects of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And to learn more about the Lawyers in the Classroom program, please go to www.chicagobar.org/Chicago bar/LIC.